Hello everybody, it's me again, and this is the last video we're gonna do on iCloud. And in this video I'll show you how we go and fetch data from the iCloud. Now, as you remember in the previous videos, we've created an app called CloudKit Video 2, and then we have in here, if you go to the dashboard and you log in into the dashboard, we have some records in the stores. One of them is Alibaba, and if you look at the schema, if you look at the structure of that table, stores, it has store description, store image, location, and then store name. We're going to use this as to query. All right, so we're going to search for a particular store by that by using that field. All right, so if go ahead and open the project, we have a button called find record. First thing that we need to do when you're doing a query, you have to use the NS predicate class. Now, this class is basically a query. You can do a lot with it. So we're not going to do something complex. We're just fetching a record by name. So I'm going to create a query. It says let predicate equal NS predicate. And then you can pass to it two different values. Now, okay, two different, you can actually have multiple ways, but the one that I've used often is that you can actually search for a particular field, or you can actually say I want all the records. So if you say value, this one here, and as predicate value boolean true, that means give me everything. All right. Or you can say I want to search for a particular value and I have to construct more my query. And this is just if you've used NS format before in or NS string before, or string with format before in Objective-C, this is very similar. So you will have to put the name of the field, which is store name, if you remember, and then you can say equal, and then here you need to you replace it by a text value. All right, and the text value is going to come from the text field. So we have a field, if you remember, the IB outlet is called txt name. So I'm going to say here we're going to replace this by txt name dot text. Okay, and I have to unwrap it, I believe. Okay, so now this is your query. Okay, and then you create let me just make it did we create an like an activity indicator here or not? I'm not sure. Yeah, we've created an activity indicator. So let's just start animating the activity indicator. So I'm going to say activity indicator start animating, and this is what make it turn. Okay, and make it turn and it will show up. Okay, it'll show on the screen. And then we need to create a query using that predicate we just created. So we say let query equal ck query, and then you need to pass to it the name of the field that you're searching for and the predicate. So the name of the table, the name of the table, the record type, and I believe, just to make sure that we got it right, it is called stores. So you go back and then you type in here stores. Okay, and then for the predicate is the one that we just created. Just simple as that. Now with the predicate, there is a lot of, if you just go and search on the net for NS predicate, there's lots of tutorial, lots of material you can search. You can construct it. You can use and, you can use between, or you can anything you can do with a query, you can do with the NS predicate. Okay. Then the next thing we need to do is that we need to execute that query. And remember, we created a database above here. Here it is, right? We created public database. So all I have to do is that we type in public database dot execute query, or perform query, and then the query that you want to execute, which is query. and then the zone, and zone is actually nil because we're using the default zone, and then here your completion handler. Okay, and then the record, which is my result, and error object, and here is your code. Now, what do you do in this code? The first thing you need to do is you need to check, do I have an error or not? So if I don't have an error, if the error does not, if it's equal to nil, that means I got an error, right? That means I need to do something. Okay, else I don't have an error. Okay, now you could do alert controller, whatever you want to do, but for simplicity, I'm gonna just put print, and then I'm gonna put the error localized description. That will give me an error. You can, if you want to format it properly, you can say warning or error. This will be funny. And then we got an error, okay? And then you concatenate the two together. Okay. Okay, now what you need to do, what do we have here? Fix it, okay. What you need to do, that activity indicator is running, right? So you can, because it's running, this is in a block. So since it's in a block, you need to perform. You can do it actually afterwards here. Okay, we'll do it afterward outside this. Okay, so we don't have to repeat the same code. Okay, so that in case we have an error. What if in case we don't have an error? What should we do? Well, first of all, we need to check, do I have a record or not? Because there's a possibility that you actually don't have a record. So you say if result dot count greater than 0, that means I got some records. Okay. And that's in that case, what I want is that I want to get the first record. So I'm going to say let record equal to results or result, and then you just put the first record. Now what happens here, you get actually a CK record back. All right, what do we have here? Okay, because it could fail and we need to unwrap it. This is an optional variable. So what happens here, this will give you the first record. Now in case that you are doing tables instead of single record, that you're actually displaying a group of records, well, you need to do something different. Okay, this will populate in an array, and then you use that array to populate the table. Okay, but since we're assuming there's one record only, and we're just searching for one record, we're gonna get the first record out of the array, and then take the values from this record and populate it in the update the screen. So to do this, you need to perform an async operation, because this is in a block, and then you have user interface, and then you need to update the user interface on the main queue. So you do perform or dispatch. We need that, but now dispatch async operation. The queue is dispatch. Oh, we got that again wrong here. The queue dispatch, we need to get dispatch and get min queue. That will give you the queue, and then this will give you the code. Okay, what do we want to do? What we want to do, if you hit the enter, this is what happens. What do we want to do? We want to take the values from the record. So I'm going to say txt. I don't know what we have. We need to use self here, right? Self txt description dot text equal to what? Equal to record object for name. Okay, for key. What is the key that we're searching for? Store description. This is where you need to make sure you got the records correctly, and I advise you to go to the storyboard again, to the dispatch. So I have store description, store image, store location, and blah blah blah. All right, so I'm gonna say store description. That's correct. No, store is, there is an E, I think, at the end. All right, so make sure store, yeah. So that will give you the store description. Okay, I need to unwrap that. Cannot. Oh, we need to cast it as a string. Okay, and then we need to do the same thing for self dot. We haven't. We need to do something with the image, right? With the image, we'll do something with the image in a minute here. But with the image, it's actually what we have. We need to reverse the process. We have two things. We have the location and then the image. I'm going to say we don't have a location here, so I am going to define a variable here to called, oh, it is position here. Do you see that? This was a position. So I'm going to say position, self.position. What do we have here? We need to add, okay. Self.position equal to what? Equal against same stuff for the record dot object for key, and then here it's store location. And then here, that's not gonna work. Here you need to again cast it as CLL location, yeah. And self dot let's do the image. Okay, now the image, let image equal, you need to take the asset object, we stored an image, create a UM image from the content of that file. So what happens when you say let image equal record, again, dot object for key, and I think store, should have done that before, store image. Okay, it's an asset, right? So it says store image, and then here you say as what? As CK asset. Okay. All right. Now this is like, actually what you're doing is you're downloading a file to your phone, and that file, that asset actually has a URL. So all we have to do, we say let self dot image, is it called image? Did we store image? Store image, yeah. Dot image equal to what? Equal to UI image and then one of the constructors here is called from data. You see that? Content, or actually content from file. Where is content from file? UI image name. Content from file. You see that? So what I want is that content from file. And what is the file? The file is actually image img dot file URL dot path, and that's it. Unwrap it. Okay. All right. What do we have here? Why do we have this? Then cast. Huh. This no. Fix it. Okay. I don't know. All right, now this is, now what happens now, you need to tell the activity indicator to stop, okay? So the activity indicator need to stop whether we have an error or it was successful. This block was successful and we have records, more than 0, right? So this is for that if statement. I believe that this is for the if and this is for the else, right? So, and this is for the completion handler, right? I believe so. Just to make sure that we are okay. I hate it with all these brackets. So this is for the completion handler, yeah. And if you, to make it sure that it is correct, you just highlight it and it show you, oh, didn't. Okay, let's see if it shows it this way. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that is it. Okay, so now I'm gonna do, again, I'm gonna copy this part, dispatch on the main queue, and then delete a few things in here. And delete all of this. The only thing that I'm gonna leave here says activity indicator, stop animating. This will stop the animation process and that will disappear, of course, because it's an block. We need to use self. Okay, that is it. Where am I? Okay, here. That's it. And hopefully it would work. The only part that is left in this video, and I leave it to you to do it, this CLL location, actually you can take it and pin it. Well, do you want to do it? I might as well do it. Okay, I'll do it for you. So what happens is that we need to create a coordinate, and we can create a coordinate from the latitude and longitude. Okay, what happens? We create a coordinate and add it to the we add an annotation to the store. Okay, the code is there. You can take it, copy. Do we have text latitude and longitude? Yeah, we do. So that's good. So I'll update those two in the process. Okay. Okay, so let's copy this. If you want to, or you can keep it as a function. And then here we will add them here. Okay, just add them here. First, I have those two text fields just to show you. Those two text fields. We have blah blah blah. It's called alt self dot txt lat equal position dot latitude no, oh, position dot coordinate dot latitude. Okay, and self dot, it's gonna give me an error, right? So we need to, I'll show you, fix it here in a minute. Txt longitude dot text equal, again, position dot coordinate dot latitude. And here need to do this dot text here. And then these, actually you need to trick it into a string. So what you do, you put this old technique, and then just do it this way. All right. Same thing here. If I can find the brackets anymore. All right, and then this one here and here the same way. Okay, because these are numbers, right? And then you need to, it needs to be text. What do we have here? Oh, self. Okay, and why do I have extra one here? All right, so that will give you, at least you'll see them on the text. Now, what do you want to do? If you want to create coordinates, copy that, and we got the position, right? Position Oh, I need to do self here again. Self dot position dot coordinate. All right, there is the latitude title. Instead of that store, we're gonna use the store name. Okay, Alibaba. So I'm gonna use store. Oh, I don't need that. Just because it is string already, right? So you can do txl because it's populated already. txt name dot text. Okay, and then here, location of the store, subtitle. You can put the description here if you want, right? Which is txt dot txt description dot text. All right, we should be cooking here. What's the problem here? We need to unwrap the self. Yeah. And then what about this guy here? Oh, same process, some problem. We need to do self here again. Anything else? That's it. So if we have any other annotations, they will be removed. So just to rewind what we did, a recap what we did. So this is fine. I got the position, I got the latitude and longitude shown in the text field. We create an annotation, we add this annotation, we create we set the coordinates for that annotation, change the text field to the title, the description, and then we add it to the map view. All right, let's see if it all works. Who knows? All right. Okay, so well, a little more work because I have that image. What I'm going to do, let's stop that and go to the storyboard just to show you. Remove this image from here or set it up to another image. Do I have another image? Oh, I can't, so you see the difference. Okay, okay, is that. All right, now if I run it again, show the debug. So if I type in Alibaba, if we look at the stores, we got in the default zone, we got Alibaba, and the location is okay because on this is in the United States, and this is the map because I'm doing it at home here. If you look at the simulator, we're showing the United States, so it should appear here that pin here. So if go back to I'm going to show you so you can see the debug messages at the same time. So if I type in Ali and space Baba, make sure the casting in small case, okay, and that is small b Baba, and then you click on search. Let's see. That's the activity indicator. Working because it's getting an image. We got an error. And what is the error? I didn't like that. Okay, what's the error here? Okay, well, I'm gonna pause it for a minute, figure out the error, and come back to you. Okay, hold a second. All right, very silly mistake. It says if error equal nil, print out the error. Well, that we should do only this when, because I was trying to print a nil, okay, because there was no error, it worked, but I was trying to print it out. So this should have been if error does not equal to nil, do this, otherwise do this here. Okay, it was a logical error. All right, so let's run it again and see what happens. Allah, it will work. So I'm gonna say Alibaba, and then my wife just walked on me here, and then I click on search. working error. Unwrapping an optional variable one, which is the asset. And the reason that is, we should check these, but I tell you their problem is that, remember when we first started these tutorials, some of these records did not have images. You see this? So the store image here is nil. This one has an image. This one, but the location is somewhere in Dubai, so you will not see the pin. This one has an image. No, it does not have an image. This one has an image. Okay, so we can use TT, or you can fix it. You can fix the data in your code, and then you'll have to check. You can need to say if let image blah 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 equal, then you do this, right? Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Okay. Anyway, we'll leave it, and then let's run it with that TTT and see what happens. So we say TTT 4 times, I believe, and do search. And waiting, that activity indicator is gone. Here's my image, and that pin is somewhere here. That's why. If you click on it, TTT the title, and then that's the description. Okay, that is it. You can work on these, fix them up with the, make sure that you don't have null values from the database for some of these fields, and it should work. So that is your final record, final video. I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you on the next topic.